We were expecting them to raise this in the uplift committee meeting, sir. Kasi it's an uplift committee issue. Matter.
You are expecting them. That's passive. Why don't you talk to them?
Well,
you should have talked to them 1 month ago pa po ito eh. Eh kung ganito po, hindi ko alam kung saan tayo papunta rito. Those data need to be validated. Kung totoo sila, hindi po ganun kataas ang presyo. We are romanticizing on the Straits of Hormuz. We're baffled by the phenomenon of Strait of Hormuz. Puro si Hormuz na lang. But we're not looking at the true picture. Hindi po ba kayo nagtataka? Wala man lang pong nag-disprove sa akin. When I said, Mr. Chair, your companies are making 3 billion pesos per day. Weren't you surprised na hindi man lang sila sumagot po? Walang sumagot. And I assume that their silence is acquiescence. Mr. Chair, yun lang muna, hindi na makasagot. Deb. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. I see the point of Senator Marcoleta, and in the law that we passed doon sa suspension ng excise tax, meron ho nakasulat ho doong proviso na ang DOE meron na pong kapangyarihan humingi ng information sa mga oil companies para ma-audit kung meron bang profiteering or meron bang pang-aabuso. Hindi naman natin sinasabi meron. No? Sinasabi lang natin, kailangan mabigyan natin ng kumpiyansa ang publiko na itong sitwasyon na ito ay hindi sinasamantala ng ninuman. No? Whether oil company ka o retailer ka, wala hong nagsasamantala nitong sitwasyon na ito. So, we can discuss that later on. We'll discuss that topic later on. But today we'll focus on the intervention. So we will now call on DSWD to present. Then after that, the OTR, DA, and then we'll request, Senator Bam suggested to also hear from our LGUs. Nandito po si Mayor Magalong and si Mayor Olaso ng Zamboanga City para magbigay ho sila ng briefing kung bakit ho sila nag-declare ng state of calamity. Being a former mayor, alam ko ho na ang LGUs alam nila yung totoong sitwasyon on the ground. No? Ramdam nila yan every second. No? So maganda hong marinig ho natin sa kanila yung kanilang nararanasan on the ground. So we'll call on the SWD.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next slide. So top line data, Mr. Chairman, as previously stated, the AIX allocation, we earmarked an initial 30 billion for the endeavor of taking care of our public utility drivers. To date, we've already catered to 1.14 million public utility drivers. This comprises of tricycle drivers, jeep drivers, TNVS, service delivery, and MC taxis. Of which, as mentioned, 5.7 billion has already been distributed or disbursed. Next slide. Mr. Chairman, the next slide will show you the disaggregated data. Again, we've catered to 107 million public utility drivers, broken down, as you can see, 851,000 from the ranks of the tricycle drivers, TNVS drivers 40,000, jeepney drivers 41,000, service delivery 139,000, MC taxi drivers 68,000 thereof. The next slide will do this in peso value of how much we've disbursed per sector, and of which around 5.7 billion pesos has already been disbursed. Mr. Chairman, in the original presentation, in the hearing before this hearing, there was an indicative column. We took that out because, Mr. Chairman, as you will see in the next slides, we can ascertain some type of indicative, but it seems like in the ranks of the app-based community, gumagalaw ho yung targets. And that's something that we will get into. But the mandate of the uplift committee for DSWD is to finish this as soon as possible. The original numbers were already 85%. The disbursement was supposed to be 85% of the original targets. Pero because nga the goalpost keeps on moving, especially for the app-based drivers, hindi na ho namin nilagay yung indicative. Now, the next slide, I know that the pressing question is speed. Why aren't we using digital platforms to do it? DSWD is not averse to using e-wallets. In fact, yung 4Ps po namin, nasa e-wallet na nga ho sila. But what we found out from this exercise is the lack of a clean list. See, the context of DSWD has always been, we go in, we do the payout, we do the intake, pero as long as may clean list. But what was promised to us as a clean list by the TNCs more particularly is now what we call a junk list. Alam niyo ho, in the course of doing the payouts, we found out duplicates, triplicates, errors in names and everything na kung simple lang ho pinasok namin kagad sa e-wallets without batting an eyelash dahil sila nag-certify, we would have lost 2.7 billion of much needed resources. Yan po yung mapupunta sa mga ghost riders, ghost drivers. I don't know what else to call them kasi may the average claim rate namin sa mga payout centers namin is only 80%. Meaning, a good 20%, they don't show up. Meron hong pumupunta, expired ang driver's license. So how can you call yourself a driver? Meron pumupunta ho dun, wala talagang driver's license. The next couple of slides will show you the difficulty of what we're encountering. Hindi ho namin sinasabing hindi surmountable, but this one's bogging us down rather than just doing the payout. Next slide. The next couple of slides will show you types of lists that we are encountering. Meron ho kaming nakukuha kasi this is very salient in the bigger community of ride-hailing apps. Meron ho kami nakukuha because multi-app sila. Meron hong isang tao that will be submitted 2 times, one with a junior, the other one without a junior. This is quite prevalent, may suffix siya. So you can imagine, if we deposited this directly to his e-wallet, all they had to do was to create another ID and open 2 Gcash accounts or 2 Maya accounts. So dyan may problema na ho kaagad tayo. Next slide will show you how some people will appear in one list with a middle initial, the other one with a middle name. Pero pagdating sa site, isang tao lang ho pala to. Next slide will show you same name, but encoded from different lists na magkaiba ang birthday. So these are actual cases already. So, Mr. Chairman, I can go on and on. The next slide will show you another case na same birthday pero may discrepancy sa name. Ang daming permutations that we're seeing on the ground because and this is quite